Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Deciding to Soar, Living Life Your Own Way. I'm Sharon Jamison, and I am so grateful that you are here. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, the Deciding to Soar podcast is an unedited, unscripted podcast where I share lessons that I am learning in my own life, as well as sharing the wisdom that I gain from working with some of the most talented visionaries, leaders, consultants, entrepreneurs, pastors, and truth tellers around the world. And so today I feel very led to share an old African proverb that I learned from my spiritual mothers when I was growing up. And that African proverb is trust your wings, but not the branch. Trust your wings, but not the branch. And this proverb is so important because if we look at what's happening throughout the world, there are many branches, and branches are defined as policies, structures, systems like our healthcare system, a political system, an educational system, jobs, relationships, economies. All of those different types of branches are shifting. And many times they are shifting without warning. And the challenge is that throughout our lives, we have been conditioned to believe that those branches would offer safety and offer security and offer protection and guidance. But we're noticing that those branches are bending and some branches have broken under the weight of the changes and challenges that are happening in the world. But that's why it's so important for us to not focus on those branches and focus on our wings, because our wings are our gifts and our instincts, our resilience, our spiritual wisdom. They are the things that represent what's inside of us. And when we can identify and name our wings, we are able to use them to help us rise and soar even when the world shifts under our feet, even when everything is unpredictable and uncertain. Our wings help us know and remember that we can still fly. But here is the challenge. We are not and have not been taught to cultivate trust in our wings. And some of us have not been taught that we really do have the ability and the capacity to fly, to soar, to overcome barriers, to navigate through the vicissitudes of life. So in this December, I think it's a perfect time to take inventory of our wings. Because here's the truth. You cannot ask for what you need if you do not know what you already have. And if we take inventory, you can understand how talented, how equipped, how capable you already are, so that you can soar into new opportunities, new assignments, in order to create a new opportunity or a new reality. When you understand that internally you have everything you need. And so today I want us to name some of the wings, because they're they're oftentimes wings are parts of ourselves that we overlook. For example, we can easily name our talents and our gifts and our expertise, and we can easily name our education. We can easily name things that we have earned, or we have certificates for, diplomas for, degrees for. But sometimes there are other wings that we don't acknowledge. For example, the wing of resilience, the wings of creativity, the wing of adaptability, the wings of intuition. How about the wings of reading the room, the wings of sensing safety, the wings of emotional intelligence, the wings of power awareness? And there are so many wings that are innate and wings that we have cultivate, sometimes through experience, sometimes through survival, that can really help us not only save our lives, but help us soar. So, for example, let's talk about the wing of system identification, because we all have it, but we don't really think about it. That is the ability to say, wait a minute, this problem is not me. This problem is the environment. This problem is the workplace. This problem is the structure. And and when we have that wing of system identification, it keeps us from internalizing what never belonged to us. For example, if you have the wing to understand that maybe your boss is jealous or that the market is changing, you can understand that it's not you that the problem. You can understand that there are shifts happening in the market, or healing is need to be done to allow you to have room to exist. How about the wing of sabotage detection? That's a wing that I really learned that I have, and that is that quiet knowing that helps you see who is undermining you. How about that? It is the wing that helps you see and identify who is a saboteur, who might be delaying you, who is smiling at you but not really cheering for you. And that wing is so important because that wing protects your boundaries so that you can continue to bloom. How about the wing of optimism? That is the wing that allows you to see opportunities and see potential so that you can still be fruitful and fulfilled even in the midst of adversity. And when we appreciate that our wings are abundant, that they're strong, that they're not random, that they're not accidental, and we really appreciate that our wings are sacred and spiritual and powerful, they can help us adapt. They can help us discern. They can help us create and elevate, even when the branches, however those branches show up in our lives, bend or break. So today, I want you to trust your wings again. I want you to name your wings, identify your wings. I want you to remember that the strength is in your wings. The strength is not in the branch. And I want you to take inventory so that you are reminded of not what you have lost, but what you still carry. Because I want to remind you, as I remind myself, that our wings that we have are enough. Our wings are the things that are inside of us, and our gifts, our talents, our instincts, our abilities, our ancestral wisdom are what can always help us be prepared and stay prepared so that we won't fail even when the branches around us continue to break and remain fragile. I want you to remember that you are built to soar. And even in this season of uncertainty, even in this season of polarization, even in this sense of in the season of inequity and debt and frustration and compromise and a lack of integrity, the branches, which are things outside of you, the branches that are systems and policies and practice and structures, things that you cannot predict or control will never determine your destiny, will never define who you are. Because, as my spiritual mothers told me, and I want to remind you, that you can always trust your wings, your divine wings, your sacred wings, because they're holy. And if you trust your wings, instead of trusting the branch, you will soar and you will know in your heart that the best is still yet to come. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if this message speaks to you, please share it with someone who needs a reminder about their wings, or share it with someone who needs to take inventory and name their wings. Because I know that 2026 will be a year of transition also. But if we keep trusting ourselves and relying on our capacity and our community and our abilities and our talents, and trust our wings instead of trusting the branch, we will be more than conquerors, and we will continue to do what we have been created and called to do. So until next time, keep deciding to soar, keep living life your own way, because the best is still yet to come. Blessings.